Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Modern Mystic radio show. My name is Mystic Saira. I'm going to be with you for the next 30 minutes. I will be taking 2 callers, so please get dialing in. If you would like a private reading with me, it's very easy to get that. You can just go onto my website, which is www.modern-mystic.co.uk, or you can message me through Facebook under Mystic Saira or Modern Mystic, and I will answer as soon as possible. Okay, so today I want to talk a little bit about the energy that we're involved with at the moment, the planetary energy. So we're just going into Mercury retrograde, and normally it's a time where people fear that word, Mercury retrograde. I know I do. It can cause a few problems. It can cause a few setbacks, and we're just about to enter into it, and that will last for about 3 weeks. So what can you expect with that? Well, communication issues, a bit of tenseness, perhaps arguments, communication going wrong, things that you're perhaps waiting to hear back from, and it's not arriving. So if you're finding yourself a little bit frustrated at the moment with waiting to hear about things, then that will be Mercury retrograde. Other things that it can govern, travel. So, you want to watch your cars, you want to watch travel. Probably not the best time to go and plan a trip, or not the best time to actually start anything new, if at all possible. So if you have a choice in terms of moving house or starting a business, then I'll just try and leave it till the end of Mercury retrograde. It also governs past issues. So what you might be finding is that a past issue is coming back, maybe haunting you to a certain degree, coming back to the surface for you to re-examine it. So, it's, even though it sounds really negative, what it does allow you to do is stop and think and reevaluate, and also clear some of those past issues that have been perhaps holding you back. And talking about past issues, what it can also govern are people getting back in contact that you haven't heard from for a while, perhaps even the ex, so looking at previous relationships. So we have that going on. Like I said, that's going to be for the next 3 weeks. But we also have coming up tomorrow a new moon in Pisces. And I actually like a new moon in Pisces, I have to admit. It governs the psychic area. It governs the subconscious mind. So there's plenty of things that you can look at in terms of furthering yourself over the next month or so using this powerful energy of the new moon in Pisces. So you can look at, perhaps you've got a block, an emotional block, or something you want to release and let go of. Now will be the perfect time. Start afresh. If you're looking to develop your psychic abilities, again, that's a really, really good moon to work with. And anything really sort of getting yourself out of that lonely energy as well, because Pisces can dominate solitude. So if you're looking to get out of solitude and perhaps partner up with somebody, now would be a good time to manifest that. Okay, so, excuse me. Today, what I also want to look at with you are some tarot tips. So perhaps you've got a set of tarot at home, perhaps you're a budding psychic, and you want to explore the tarot a little bit more and get it working with you. So I'm going to describe a few ways in which I use the tarot to give you a little bit of guidance of getting the most out of your tarot deck. Perhaps you've just been doing 3-card readings and you want to expand on that, and you'd like to be able to do something a little bit more in depth. Okay, so I have my tarot cards here, and what I'm going to do is really give you some sort of guidance in terms of delivering a reading. Now, first and foremost, it's incredibly difficult for you to be impartial when looking at your own life. So if you are serious about learning the tarot, please do try and practice on somebody. Forget about the nerves, forget about the worry, forget about, if you get things wrong. The important thing is to be able to use the cards so you can tune in to somebody else. Now, you can do that with a person sat in front of you, which is the most ideal way. Or alternatively, if you can't find anyone to practice on, why not choose somebody at random, maybe somebody that is going through a bit of a difficult time at the moment, and you don't necessarily have to discuss your findings with that person, but to actually try and sort of see if you can get any guidance for them. It might help you or might help them, and you can enter that, your findings, if you like, into a conversation. Or you can choose a celebrity. Perhaps you've read up somewhere that someone's going through something. You just want to see what the outcome is. You know, are they going to get back with that person, or, you know, what's going to happen with them? These are all different ways that you can utilize the tarot. So first things first, what you need to consider, what you need to think about when you're doing a reading, you need to place yourself in that other person's position, in the other person's shoes. Now, it doesn't really matter whether you know what they're looking for in the reading. What I would say here, because a lot of people will always start off with a general, and see where it goes from there. Now, if you're faced with that and you're anxious about, well, what do I look for? What do I cover? I would say cover the 5 main areas of life, and then you can't go wrong. So have in your mind that you want to cover love, you want to cover work, you want to cover money, you want to cover home, you want to cover family, and then you're done, okay? Now, also in terms of progressing with the reading, so if you say, for instance, you pick up on somebody's work situation, for instance, well, what you want to do is to be able to give more information. Now, the way in which you do that's about becoming friends with your tarot deck is you deal out a few more cards, and in terms of answering what you think that person needs to know. And a lot of it comes down to common sense. So if you pick up that perhaps somebody's going to meet somebody new, well, they're going to want to know when, for a start. And they're also going to want to know, you know, what is this person like, and possibly how am I going to meet them? And there are different ways and different techniques of finding that information out. But today, what I want to talk about are timings in particular, and how to get them from your tarot cards. So one way of doing it is a 12-month spread. So perhaps if you're picking up on something, right, okay, where does this fall in the year? And you can narrow it down that way. The way in which I do it is I simply deal out 1 or 2 cards, and I get drawn to the number within the card, and sometimes the suit. So the suits can offer you time frame. So we're looking at the minor arcana. So let's have a look at the suits. So we have for the pentacles, they govern years, the cups govern months, the wands govern days, and the cups govern weeks. Now, I don't always stick to that. What I tend to do is put out a few cards, see what number comes up, and then see what intuitively I feel that relates to, whether it's weeks, months, years, or days. Okay, let's go on with our first caller. And we've got Jennifer, who's from Watson in Illinois. Hi, Jennifer, can you hear me?
Hi, Sarah. Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, how are you?
Doing okay.
Okay, do you have a question for me tonight?
Can you connect to a spirit?
Okay, right. So let's have a look and see what I have for you. So do you know who you want to connect with?
My husband.
Right, let's just see what I have coming up for you, coming in with this. So I'm just going to use the spirit message cards and see what message I get for you with this. Oh, wow. Okay, let's just see. I want to kind of give the message first before I go into what I feel around this particular spirit. So we've got, I mean, I'm seeing here quite a strong soulmate energy between the two of you. And my feeling here is that despite the fact that he's no longer with you in physical form, I feel like his essence and his spirit is still very much by your side. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I'm also being shown here is there's almost like the insistence that you you now start to look after number one, look after yourself. So there's a feeling here that even though he's kind of going with you on this journey of aloneness, I feel at the moment, what I do feel here is that he's asking you to take care of number one, to take care of yourself. And there's also the element here of wanting to reach out to you. And I'm being shown here dreams in particular. Have you had any dreams where he's appeared in them since he's passed?
I've had like 3, but the other night I did, but I didn't get to finish the dream because I was awakened.
Do you remember the content of the dream? Because my feeling here is that he is making the effort to reach out to you. And what we tend to find with these types of situations where they reach out in that way, because my feeling here is that I haven't got like a massive amount of time since he's passed, if that makes sense. I feel like this is not that long ago. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And my feeling here is that there wasn't really the opportunity for you to let go properly or in a fashion that was comfortable to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an element of suddenness. However, I do feel that you knew that it was coming. Now, what I also feel with this is that he's wanting to reach out to you is so you can have some sense. It's almost like it's coming in 2 ways. So you can have some sense of closure for your own heart, for your own emotions, but also that comfort and reassurance that he's still around you. Okay, that's what I feel these dreams are indicating for you. Now, when they do come forward within this way, quite often the dreams are kind of clouded by other stuff that's kind of going on that can be a little bit messy at the time. But I want to say take the core message from the dream or the core communication from the dream. What I'm also being told here is that it's a feeling here like you did everything together. And I feel like there's a massive adjustment for you as you start to have to do things on your own. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what he's saying here about this, because obviously I feel like he's very sensitive to your needs. Okay, he's coming across as a very sensitive gentleman, but what he's saying here is to simply ask him, speak to him in your mind or in your heart, or maybe even out loud. And I feel that you will feel his energy still around you. My feeling here as well is because there's this really, really strong soul connection between the two of you. My feeling is also that he's wanting you to, wanting you to still keep that intact. Well, no, he's reminding you that he's keeping it intact. Does that make sense?
Keeping what intact?
Your soul connection.
Oh, like he's staying connected to me?
Yes, absolutely. Because like I said, I do feel, yeah.
Is he here with me right now?
I feel that he is. I feel that he doesn't leave your side, not at the moment.
I mean, does he ever leave or does he always stay here?
Now this is the thing. This is to do with our perception. It's a question that I'm asked quite a lot is, why don't I feel them all the time? Now, they are around you, or he is around you all the time. However, our level of perception isn't always in tune for us to pick it up all the time. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, because I don't feel him here.
However, you do have dreams with him there, okay? I feel because we've got such a strong connection between the two of you, that you will have that experience of where you sense his energy with you, whether it's like first thing in the morning or whether it's a fragrance or something like that. I feel that you will have that, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What does he do where he's at?
What does he do now?
What does he do wherever, like in heaven or wherever he goes?
Okay, so what I feel at the moment he's still going through is processing his last life or his life with you. So I feel like he's working on he's working on absorbing and processing what he's gone through in life, almost like equipping the soul to be able to eventually move on. But I do feel that, you know, when it comes to your time, that he'll be the one to greet you as well. So I feel that he's not just wandering around aimlessly. I do feel that he's busy. I'm also being shown here that he's connected to other people that have passed over, so he's certainly not alone. He's in a state of peace and he's in a state of joy. But like I said, you know, I feel that if you can raise your perception a little bit more, you might end up feeling him around you a bit more for extra comfort.
How do I do that?
How do you do that? It's a very good question. What you can do is simply meditate, close your eyes, tune into him, maybe even hold something that belongs to him. It's just, if you could do this, what I'm getting from my guides, if you could do this like on a regular basis, perhaps at a certain time during the day, then what you will find here is that you will pick up on his energy much stronger. Okay.
And he won't like ever leave me, will he?
Absolutely not. They're with us forever.
What's that?
They're with us forever. He'll be with you forever.
Uh-huh. Now, one more thing. For like heaven, is that far away or is that like right above us?
If you just consider that it's simply through another dimension, so it's almost I want to say it's alongside us rather than above, below, or a million miles away. Does that make sense?
Beside us.
It's alongside us, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you just imagine that there's a door stood in front of you, he's just through the other side of that door.
Okay. Does he have anything else to say? Does he have anything else to say to me before we're done?
I feel there's something here about playing music. I feel like that's another way that you can connect with him, or he will connect with you, perhaps. But I'm being shown here music, songs, favourite songs, maybe your song, or maybe even his. But I feel like I've got music as well for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Okay, I'm going to go on with my next caller, and we have got Anaheim from California. Hello, Anaheim.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're more than welcome. What would you like me to look at for you today?
I think that my husband and I, he has been in a significant depression for about the past 2 years. He has PTSD, is a veteran, and he's going through some changes right now. And then just looking at how I can best support him and not get entangled. Like a lot of his reactions and things like that, I know they have nothing to do with me, but they can be painful. And
yeah, okay.
Having a better understanding of how I can, hold my space and also support him.
Okay. I'm sorry, I got your name completely wrong. It's Kelly, isn't it?
That's okay. Don't worry.
Right. Okay. So let's have a look at your husband. And let's see what we've got around this. Wow. I mean, you are actually a very, very strong team ordinarily. Now, let's just see what he's going through. I just feel like everything's kind of being broken down here with him, or like he's been broken down. And I feel, how can I put it? It feels like when I'm focusing on his energy, he's really shaky at the moment. He needs your strength at the moment. Okay. What I kind of feel here is, because obviously there's two ways of going around supporting somebody that's going through such difficulties. Number one is obviously, how can I put it, the tea and sympathy route, which I don't feel that he needs. I feel that he needs your strength. It's almost as though you've got to be his backbone at the moment. Okay. And this is kind of relating to, it's like when I'm looking at him, I feel like everything's gone into absolute crisis. And he's feeling like he can't function, and he can't function with normal day-to-day life. Does that make sense?
Very much so.
Yeah. And there's a temptation here with him that to kind of run away and run and hide from all of this. Okay. And I feel here this is where you can come in and how can I put it? It's like gently persuade him to start how can I put it, functioning in a far more normal way. Because when I'm looking at him, I feel like I've got him surrounded in fear, which is quite debilitating for him. So everything at the moment feels like it's really, really hard work. Does that make sense to you?
It does. I mean, sometimes he doesn't get out of bed for weeks, really, other than to use the restroom and sit down.
Now, this is where I feel. I feel like if you talk to him and tell him, you've got to stop doing this, or you've got to do this, and you've got to do that, it's almost like that has the wrong effect here. Like I said, I feel like it's like I get you setting an example for him and him following that example. I want to find out a little bit more about, because this doesn't feel like this is going to be a permanent situation for you. So how long has he been going through these difficulties?
It's been about 2 years that it started, and I'd say the past 6 months it's been extreme. And he's able to verbalize it, and he's participating in therapy. He's out seeing a therapist, and he's motivated, and he can verbalize that, that he knows it's a struggle. There's just been a lot of life changes. I've changed careers. I have a new job, and we have a child, a 13-year-old, and so a lot of the weight of carrying the household is on me. And it's okay. I mean, I don't have any resentment, and I haven't we're very much a good team. We've been together for over 28 years. And but it's the inclination, is ultimately it's because I don't want to feel uncomfortable, but I want to comfort him. And so it takes a lot of energy to kind of go, that's not mine. I can trust this. Yeah. I can just, and it's constant. And I just want to see if that's the right direction. If he asks me for guidance, I offer it in a very gentle, suggestive way. I don't make mandates, unless I think he's being unsafe. And then I just talk about, like, that's not acceptable. This is my boundary. But, is that the best thing that I can do is it's basically like I'm saying, we're safe and we're okay. You're struggling now, but you can you may not be able to see your progress. I'm outside of it, so I can see good things are happening, and it's just a slow process. And is that the best thing that I can do for him?
Yeah, I do feel that by you, how can I put it, offering the positives, which you'll be able to see a lot clearer than he will, is going to, I see him making great strides with this. There was something else that came up, which is why I asked you how long he's been suffering from this particular issue or these particular issues. And I really wanted to take it from the very beginning, not just from where it's become extreme, because what I'm getting here is like, when one of the things I wanted to look at is when he's going to feel better and when he's going to start to for you to get your husband back. Does that make sense? And what I was getting here is around the 3-year mark from the start of it, which is probably about 6 months away from now. So I do feel that your efforts are going to make a massive difference. But like I said, keep the positive, keep reinforcing the positive so it outweighs the negative. That's what I really want to say to you.
Oh, good. Well, I sometimes wish you could see himself. I always say, I wish you could see yourself through my eyes, and because you're beautiful, and this is just a temporary struggle. It's not to make light of it, but it's just you're making gains, and that's just what I try and focus on and listen and be empathetic. And sometimes it doesn't feel like it's enough because I'm uncomfortable. It's difficult to see people that you care for in pain.
Absolutely. I'd love to carry on with this reading, but we're going to have to finish. The show has come to an end. So thank you very much for coming through. And like I said, if you want to get hold of me, you can do on www.modern-mystic.co.uk. And we do have lots of wonderful shows coming up as well. So stay tuned, and I shall see you the same time next week. Goodbye for now.